Hello guys, I'm Super Ron. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to T5 Camper Week. This week we've been doing an episode every single day on the work, converted this 2009 T5 shuttle into a camper. We've done the split charge system, we've done the leisure battery, we've done the mains hookup, we've done the insulation, and now we're moving on to the multimedia system. Now, something I really like doing is putting newer technology in older cars. So with a head unit, you've got lots of options these days with Android, with Apple Play, with cameras, with multimedia input. The lists are endless. So when I was looking to put something in this, considering they're going to spend a lot of time inside the camper van, I wanted something pretty cool. So when the guys at Atoto got in contact and asked if we wanted to have a look at their X10 infotainment system, I said absolutely. And this doesn't stop at just being a head unit. It also has two cameras as well. So it's a reverse camera and a double dash cam. So let's pop these open and see what we've got. Nicely packaged. Instructions, some protective screens for the touch screen, and all the leads we need, because this has got a million options. GPS and Wi-Fi antennas. We've got conversion looms. We've got phono leads. We've got ISO converters. We've got the brackets and the surround. And we've got a SIM card, which I'll get to in a minute. And if we carry on digging, we get to the actual head unit itself. So as you can see, nice size, double DIN head unit, all wrapped and sealed. Loads of outputs on the back. Let's get this unwrapped. It's a very nice, lightweight unit. So on the front, we've got an aux input, we've got a memory card input, we've got a USB input, and we've got a SIM card input. So it does come with a SIM card, and what this is actually for is you can turn this into a Wi-Fi hotspot. So in the loom, with the GPS antennas, you've also got Wi-Fi aerials. So what this means, especially in a camper, you can run all your devices off this one data SIM, and it uses the head unit itself as the hub. Also then everything on the head unit will run through its own data plan. But of course, if you didn't want to go down the SIM route, you can run all the web access features through your phone, and you can connect two phones at the same time via Bluetooth, so you can have one connected for phone calls and the other streaming music in. And like I said, we've got two cameras, a rear camera and a front camera. So the rear, when you put it in reverse, of course it'll show on the screen like a normal reverse camera in a modern car. But both of these also double up as dash cams. So you have a USB input that you put in your glove box, and you put a USB memory card in there, and that'll store all your dash cam footage. And it's also got a G-force meter in there, so if your car is bumped, the camera will activate and hopefully catch whoever ran into you. It comes with a range of plugs depending what you've got. We've got ISO input, so we can plug and play this and that'll go straight in. But if you're wiring it in from scratch, it's all got all the wiring colours and the wiring diagrams attached to it, so you can wire it into any car. If you're running a sub and an amp, you can run it through this. Also steering wheel controls, and you've got a second USB that you can pop in your glove box as well, and that can be used for storage for songs. This time we've got the mounting bracket and all the parts, so we'll get that set in. And then of course we've got the fascia to finish it off on the outside. So it's got a really nice 7-inch touchscreen, so we can't see a lot while it's blank. So let's get this plugged into the car and start playing with the features. Inside the van, it has got a double DIN head unit already, but this one is past its life. The radio doesn't work anymore, the Bluetooth's a bit glitchy, the sound is really quiet, so it's definitely time for an upgrade. You can see it is a multimedia head unit here, but half the features don't work on it. The touchscreen has given up, so it's time for this to come out. And with a bit of a wiggle, out you pop with this mess we need to sort out as well. So we'll get this out the way and then we'll work out what's what. So here is the mess that was hiding behind the dash, and a lot of this is because the T5s are quad lock, and then the common stereo interface is ISO. So it's had VW quad lock converted to ISO, converted to whatever make this is. Also in the quad lock, there's no ignition live, because as standard, they turn it on via CAN bus. When you turn the ignition on, the CAN bus gateway livens up and then turns on the factory stereo. So obviously aftermarket stereos can't be turned on that way. So they have a little tail coming off for the ignition live. And that's where it gets a little bit interested in this one, because they've got a main power and they've got an ignition live coming in. They've got the household connectors, and also they've teed off it. So there's a little switch over here, and when you turn that on, you could turn the stereo on without the ignition. So all of this is a bit of a mess, and it can go, but luckily we've already got our ISO connector. There's two types of ISO connector, and the ignition live and the battery live are in different places. But luckily, to save swapping stuff around, the X10 comes with both types. So if we look, we've got positive and negative at the top of this one. And looking at this one, we've got positive and negative at the top. So this is ISO connector type B we want, so we'll use that. If we look at the ISO connector A, the positive and negatives are on the side. So although this will plug in, it won't actually work. This is the one we need. And also, as the week has been going on, as I've had panels off, as I've had bits uncovered, I've been kind of preparing for the stereo as we go. When I had all the boot card off and the interior out, I ran the wire for the camera all the way down to the front. So under the plinth, there was already a grommet here. So I just drilled the hole in it, and then we could get our camera wire out. So that will sit under there, plug in on our plinth. And here is our camera all mounted. Just put a little notch out there for the cable to sit through. That just screw on there like it's meant to be. When I was doing all the electrics under the seat, that's also where you connect into the reverse signal. So when you put it into reverse, the reverse lights come on. But there is a connector under the passenger seat, so you can tee into that. I've got my reverse wire hooked up to the rear lights. So this is this light blue plug, and it's the green black wire. And that's in pin 3 on the plug. So now we've got our reverse feed that goes along and all the way up to the dash. And that'll tell the head unit to put the rear camera on because you've just gone into reverse. Also, I ran a power from the leisure battery up to the top. So the main power we're going to use for the head unit is going to be the battery. So you will be able to turn it on, and that's not going to flatten the main car battery. So we've got the wires poking up in the glove box. Here's the one that goes to the rear camera. This is for the reverse and the main power. So we can link all them into our quad lock. So to connect up, it's going to be as easy taking that off and plug in our ISO B in. Now this will connect up to our new head unit and everything should work. So I'm going to use that for testing, and then we can get rid of all this stuff after. The cameras are all plug and play, come with all the brackets. This is the one for the front windscreen. So that sticks up to your screen, and then because all screens are at a different angle, what I like about this, it's got a little adjuster. So when you move that up and down, so you can get it sitting perfectly straight compared to your screen, because there's no point you filming the sky. Then also in here is the plug for the front and the rear. It also comes with the full extension loom. So you run this the length of the car and then into your header unit. The rear is already fitted in the car. So we're in the hole. I haven't mounted it yet with the mounting brackets. I was just so excited. I want to see a first startup. So ignition on. Lights are on. There we are. Straight away, it's giving us the QR code. We go straight on that. That'll detect it, and that'll take us straight to the Atoto page. So looking at how we're going to mount this, these don't have a cage. What they come with is these brackets, which bolt on the side, and then you bolt that down and into the dash. So obviously we don't want them on the front there, looking unsightly. So I've popped this off. That's just 2 bolts at the top, and then this whole thing pings off. And we've actually got a nice lip here and a nice flat here. So what I think I'm going to do is notch out a little bit of this plastic, and then this will drop nicely in and sit flush. And we can screw that into there nice and secure. And because we put a notch in it, our trim will go back on top. And then we've got our surround, which will sit in there, actually fits perfectly all the way around and give a really nice finish. So with a bit of fine tuning, just need to cut a bit of this lip out so that will sit in there flush. We've got loads of adjustment backwards and forwards, so I think we're going to get a really nice looking install like that. So brackets are on the side, we've got our mounting flanges on the front. So obviously this might not work with all dashboards. Luckily we've got this nice fascia that will go over it and really bring it all together. So now all I'm going to do is fine tune it to get that sitting nicely in there. Right, so here is the side brackets on. So as these are a universal kit, they've got sliders in, so you can slide it in and out to the adjustment that you need to fit in your car. They're quite big, so on some of these they may not fit, but we're quite lucky that we've got this big surround. And the other thing I've done is these were slotted all the way through, so now I've cut out this one bigger each side, and what that allows is this now slides in, and that little cutout allows the slot for the outer surround that goes on top of it, actually clips in either side of the head unit. So where those 2 bits, I didn't really want to cut them out because that holds it secure. so they can still clip into their little section. So that sits in there nice now. That clips on there and fits really nicely in the middle. So what I've done is I've drilled little holes in the plastic behind, and I can screw this in, and then that'll be in there for good. Right, here we are mostly wired in. So we've got our power feed and our reverse light switch back down to the back of the stereo. We've got our mini conversion loom for the aerial and for the quad lock that was already in the old stereo, so that wasn't the problem. And the last thing I've just wired in is the parking brake. So because you're not allowed to show videos or motion or YouTube or anything out when you're actually driving, what they have is this little safety switch that's connected to your handbrake, so the screens only work when your handbrake is on. But all that is looking is for an earth point, so if someone happened to have just connected that up to a constant earth, then you'll be able to play your videos all the time, even when the car is driving. But obviously we wouldn't do that, but if you did, all you need to do is connect the parking brake constantly to earth. And there it is screwed in with the gap for the clips each side. I've got the vents back in. So let's go for a first start up. Android head unit firing up. When I connected up earlier, I did install the app, so now that can connect to my phone. So it's just like an Android at the minute. We're all connected up the top to my phone. So we have got a ton of apps on here. We've got the radio, we've got our sat nav, we've got our weather report all up on the screen. We can scroll down and it's just like an Android tablet. You've got everything you need, your settings, your Bluetooth. You can connect 2 Bluetooth phones at the same time for calls. So we've got mine and the other one's ready to go. We've got our Wi-Fi, we've got our location. You can adjust the brightness. We've got all these apps. And another cool app that I see that is installed is Torx Diagnostics. So we've got a Bluetooth adapter. So if we put this in the OBD port, let's connect. You can change the look on the front. You've got widgets, so you can have displayed what you want on your front screen, what you want on the side screen, what apps you want to open. All totally configurable. Cameras, there we are on camera. So we'll get this connected up, see that working out the front. So that is for the dash cam, that'll be recording all the time you're driving. So when that's stuck up on there, that's gonna give a great view of what's in front. We've also got our speed, our location, and it also has a G-force meter in it. So in the event of an accident, it can tell you the time, the date, the speed you were going, the location, and even the G-force of the accident, which is pretty cool. We'll have filming of the front and the rear. So that alone is a really great feature of this head unit. So we'll go through the settings. If we go on our front and rear, I've now found we've got front camera and rear camera. So everything is now on the screen and working. Your location, the time, the date, the speed, everything on the screen. And when we put a USB stick in here, that'll all be recording. Also on here, we can turn off audio on and off. We can record, we can take pictures, we can lock it off as well. We've got lots of settings that we can go into, front, rear. We can go through our files and relive the footage as well. So everything is on here. So I'll have to get a USB stick to plug into here, and we'll have this function all working. So shall we just try, if we go onto YouTube, UTERRON, look who we've got, Super Ron. Let's get a video up. And look who we've got on the screen. I recognise that guy. We are doing rod bearings. So that is pretty cool. All the speakers are working. If we close that down, radio's all working. We've got BBC Radio Suffolk there. And then on our home screen, that will sit over here, so you can select radio stations. You can also log into Spotify at this side. So now we know everything is working, I think I'll get this camera mounted. I'm gonna go up behind the mirror here. So we're still in the wiper sweep, so it'll always stay clean, but we're out of the view. And I'll run the wire all the way up and around, and I can get the glove box back in, and we can tuck these just out of a little hole in the glove box. Also got an option for tyre pressure monitoring as well, which is pretty cool. The van hasn't got it fitted, but you've got temperature and bar. So if you did have tyre pressure monitoring sensors on the van already, you could pair them into this and have it up on your screen as well, which is another cool feature. The front screen is fully configurable because on something like a C6 A6, all the aircon settings and all the heated seat settings are on the screen itself. So if you put an aftermarket screen in, you tend to lose them. But on this, you can have all your aircon up and down, you can have your fan speeds up and down, volume, standard. You can configure it to whatever you want on your front screen, which is pretty cool. You could have your Bluetooth, you could have your phones. Anything that's on the side, you can bring to the front screen. So now we can drop the fascia back over the top of it, and that'll all sit in there like factory. It all clips in on little clips around there, and the fascia it comes with Goes on all the way around like that, giving a nice factory finish. And there we are, all back together. So it fits in there really nice, almost looks factory. It's a bit dark in here, but the texture of all the plastics and the surround perfectly match the T5, so could not be better. Got the glove box back in, and in here we've now got our memory card stick for our dash cam, so that'll save in there. You can also connect your phone or add additional storage to this USB, so they'll sit in there nicely. We've got our GPS antenna stuck to the dash, so that's in full view. We've got our camera sitting at the top, facing forwards. So now if we fire it up, everything comes alive. We've got both our cameras working. We've got our front and rear. We can make these bigger, so you can just have it on the front view, which is what's straight in front of us, which is pretty cool. Or you can have it just on the rear view. And there's your Google Maps at the minute. And now we've got our memory card in, you can see it is actually recording. Also, if we go into reverse, now got our rear view camera, which is just facing at the doors at the minute. So that's all pretty cool. But it does come with its own SIM card. So it's got 100 megabytes free of data plan. So I think we'll put this in, give it a try. Just like a phone, comes with a little release slot. Goes in the hole. And it pulls out a SIM tray, just like your phone. So let's chop this SIM down and get that in there, like so. And then we'll slot that back in its hole. See what it thinks of that. Well, we've just got signal at the top. It seems happy with that. So now we can go on to Chrome and everywhere. And we're now fully running off the SIM card, which is pretty cool. And it's even saved. Look who it is.
Welcome back to the channel, and we're back at Autoshack, and this week we're M3 Cabriolet. This car.
So that is pretty cool, seeing myself on the screen while we're in the van. So overall, as you can probably tell, I am very impressed with this head unit. It's not just a head unit, this is a full interactive package that does a lot more than your standard stereo. Like I said at the beginning, I always enjoy putting newer technology into older cars that didn't come with it. So the fact we've got front and rear cameras recording all the time, we've got reverse cameras, and then we go into the finer specs of the head unit itself. It is basically a full-on tablet. With the SIM card in now, it is a fully Wi-Fi hotspot, so we can all sit in the van and take our data off that to save using our phone. We've got all our usual apps we can display on the screen, like Spotify, YouTube Music, full-on YouTube we can watch as we're on the go. With all the GPS, you can install tracks to make this a full-on vehicle tracker, so you know where your vehicle is all the time. The list is absolutely endless. Just flying through their spec list, it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of ROM, HDMI input, OTA updates, GPS tracking, built-in amplifier. It's got a QLED display, optical fibre outputs, coaxial RCA outputs, front and rear recording cameras. It's got drive chat, full AI powered by ChatGPT. So if you've got a question, you can just ask it on the move. It's got natural AI conversations, intelligent voice control. It's got the dual Bluetooth, so you can connect 2 devices at once. With the HDMI input, you can put your PlayStation in here, you can put your Switch in, anything you want, even a DVD player, you can connect up to this unit. You can track your car by registering the Track HU app, so you know where it is all the time. It's always alert, always on guard, so with the G sensors, it's got incident detection and automatically locks videos. It's got parking surveillance 24/7. It's got a powerful built-in amplifier with 36 band equalizer and 8 preset custom settings. We're in a van, but you can zone it to wherever you want in the car as well. And even if you started with a higher spec car to start with that had steering wheel controls, they can all be configured into the head unit, so you won't lose the functionality of them. So as you can tell, overall, I am very impressed with this little thing. And now that SIM card is in, we've got 100 megabytes of trial plan, but this is fully top-upable, just like a mobile phone. You can add credits when you want it, or you can just run it off your Bluetooth phone. And you can see the front camera, nice and discreet on there. You're not even going to notice it in the window, but that is always going to be recording where we're going. So with all that in and working, I think we are going to wrap up this episode here. I'm really impressed with all the features that it's got, and I think in time we're going to find more and more and more. So this is the final tick off the list. T5 week is complete. This is ready to go. Thankfully, because tomorrow we are going camping. So once we're all set up, I'll pick up the camera again. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure you give it a like. Be sure to tune in next time, because we will have something other than a T5. But until then, make sure you have fun.